Thank you for joining me on my coffee break, Anthony. It's been a long time since we've had a coffee break via phone call.
Yep.
I am enjoying coffee with Kahlua.
Very nice.
You have it's and also thank you for joining me so late. I know it's like late your time.
No worries.
I was watching this warning to people who are listening to this. This is probably going to be a very spoiler heavy video. I'm going to try not to, but it could be a spoiler heavy video. You've seen you've seen Into the Spider Verse, which is the first movie, but you haven't seen Across the Spider Verse, the second movie, correct?
That is my understanding. Is that I've seen the first one.
You haven't seen the one with Spider Punk or the Indian Spider Man, right?
Nope.
Okay. So, sad after watching that because it ended on a cliffhanger. But in my opinion, where it ended was much better than how the Rebel Alliance ended up in Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. We've just had more times to adjust to that. Because in Empire Strikes Back, you have the Rebel disbanded, the Rebels not having a home base anymore, not really having any base because one base was discovered and the other base was two bases were discovered in A New Hope, Dantooine and then Yavin 4, and then the ice planet secret base got discovered. So that's three bases they've gone through, and the rebellion's on the run. But then you have the main heroes. One gave up his training midway to go save his friends, and he failed at that because one of his friends is in carbonite, and it's very much a downer movie. If you think, and you've watched all the Star Wars movies more than I have, and you've analyzed the Star Wars movies probably as much as I have. Is that a correct statement that Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, is a very much high tension and bad movie for the Rebel Alliance?
It's actually one of the reasons why I love Empire as a kid. There are very few films I could have ever pointed to where bad guys seem to have won the film. Vader seems to be in a much stronger position than Luke. Luke is broken. Han is frozen. Leia and the Rebel Alliance are literally hiding on the rim of their galaxy or even outside of the Star Wars galaxy at the rendezvous point. Like, they're in a pretty grim situation.
Yeah, so Across the Spider Verse ends with Miles Morales being kidnapped by a different universe version of himself and strung up. His friends quitting the organization and hunting him, and the main group also hunting him. So it kind of ends at a high tension point. But I still believe Star Wars Empire Strikes Back is like a high attention point, if you know what I mean.
I can understand that take.
Again, people are just more used to Star Wars because it's been out for over 30 years now.
Yep. I cannot imagine what the original audience take of the film was.
You never asked your dad?
I don't think so. I think it's just always played. It's just always played. I've never actually. I don't think I've ever asked him what his takes were originally on the films.
But um, the Marvel movies, Avengers Endgame, and two-parter. The first part also ended on a downer note, if I heard right from through the grapevine.
Which one?
The one where the Thanos two movies. The first one.
Yep. Endgame, part one.
Yeah, and it is a bad movie because it ended on a downer note.
Well, maybe he does seem like sullen, but again, it builds up for what's going to come in part two.
And also, maybe it wasn't that it was a downer note, it's that it left too much tension.
Yeah, not. I think, life, you have high highs and you have low lows. And, not every story is going to fit neatly with, the heroes winning the day. I think that having, like, if every single film in the MCU was all, like, Iron Man won, oh, Iron Man's defeated, and, it ended there. And then, Hulk, oh, well, guess what? He's losing. And Captain America, he's losing. But
The thing is, you bring up a good point. I think the issue is with a lot of modern moviegoers is they're used to the MCU movies, which end on a positive note. At least the superhero people. Superhero moviegoers are used to positive ending movies.
Yeah, and where usually, the next film doesn't really have much of an impact on the previous, or the previous one did not have much of an impact on the next one. Was that film with Icarus and is it The Eternals? I watched that film, and everyone points at it because it's just utter stupidity. Where it's like you now have a giant, huge statue, mountain, artificial mountain that is some form of a celestial that was coming out of the earth. Caused no earthquakes. Doesn't seem to have caused much damage anywhere. No tsunamis. The fact that it was coming out of the ocean. Everyone seems to be perfectly fine with, a giant ass statue now in the earth, or coming out of the earth.
One of the reasons I watched the MCU Spider-Man movies is because they tend to build on each other.
Yep. Well, I think Spider-Man does that. Like, regardless of which Spider-Man series you look at the original, which had Tobey Maguire. You look at the middle one, which had I can't remember his name.
Garfield.
Yes, Garfield, and the final ones. All of them. Like, not only are they not each story builds up on the other one, but they now all literally intertwine into the same universe.
Oh.
And it's my understanding that in the first, like the first animated film, that older Spider-Man is the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Was my understanding. I could be completely wrong. So
is Tobey Maguire?
The animated ones are tied in.
Is Tobey Maguire the one that gets Venom? There's a much more blatant tie-in than that.
Oh, is there?
Yes. They even tie in the Venomverse.
Nice.
If you have Crave, you should watch Across the Spider-Verse.
Is it on Crave?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I have Crave. So I have no excuse not to have watched it.
You didn't know it was on.
Watching Succession.
You have a lot of things to watch on your plate. Frasier, and the other series of Frasier.
I have to finish Lupin on Netflix. Bad Batch just came out on Disney Plus, so. Yeah, I've got much viewing and not so many viewing hours.
Something. I know this is a tangent, but that's what happens when you have conversations.
Yeah.
So, I heard something on YouTube Short or a TikTok, can't remember which, doesn't really matter. So Frank Baum, the guy that wrote Wizard of Oz, has 23 books.
Okay.
And Wicked is a prequel to the movie, which is tangential. It was related to the Baum's books, but not in the same universe as his books. And there's also another play that is also a prequel, but to the 1923 movie, but isn't related to Wicked at all. Makes steps to make it unrelated to Wicked and the Wicked books. So that and they're all tangentially they're all one big multiverse, but it's not easy to get from one place to the next.
Beautiful. I love it. I love when you have a universe that is interconnected but not so easily accessible from one to the other. Because they get to, live on independently.
I hope some of the live action older Spider-Man movies. I don't care, amazing or the original trilogy. I don't care, but we need more movies set in those universes. Hell, they don't even have to. They don't even have to have Spider-Man in them. I just want movies in those universes.
Just to see what's going on every so often.
I'm gonna need a refill on my coffee now. But
okay.
Anyways, my coffee's drunk and I need to edit some videos, so I will talk to you later.
No worries. Talk to you later.
Stop recording.